Hey folks, this is Jeff with Wickedoil, your friendly neighborhood Amsoil dealer in Madison, Tennessee. I want to do a quick video here. My Kemper Profiler Power Head, or toaster as some people like to call it. There's plenty of people on YouTube and elsewhere, I'm sure, that are doing videos on little tricks and all this other stuff. That's not what I want to do. I want to just cover a couple quick things because you could spend all day long explaining everything in here and you still wouldn't be finished. There's a lot to this. So I just wanted to cover a couple of things that nobody's really telling you. Kind of find it by accident. But one thing I'd like to say is I bought this, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks? Probably 4 weeks ago. Sam Ash, clearance. It was, I think I paid $1,310 out the door. Of course, there's no financing, so it was like, do I want to do that? I bought it, and in all honesty, it didn't take me very long, and I was kind of sorry I spent all that money on this thing, because it's not like you can take it back. But that's because there's a learning curve to using this thing. So there is a lot to this amplifier. I mean, there is a lot to it. And I went ahead and bought the Kemper cone. And now, I'm sure there are plenty of ways to use this thing and get a sound that'll make you happy. Okay, let me put it to you that way. But for me, I was like, do I want to screw around with all this crap, or do I want to get the speaker in box that's made for this, so I get hopefully a better rendition of whatever has been profiled. Now I'm into AC, Vox AC amps. I actually have one downstairs and I absolutely love it. Okay. Once I learned how to set this thing up, this thing's got some pretty badass AC 30 and I guess AC 10. There's one that comes in it for AC 15, and it's like, it's okay. It's decent. Doesn't sound near as good as mine, but whatever. But now that I've got this adjusted, set up properly to work with this non-powered cabinet, I'm getting some sounds out of this thing that are kind of surprising me, because I'm a tube amp guy through and through, and we can argue all day long about whether tube amps are the best or not. Who gives a shit? Okay, this thing right here, I'm shocked at some of the coolness that comes out of that speaker. I mean, it's like my music, I don't know, juices, my creative juices are just like on high alert since, especially in the last few days, because I'm like, my God, man, how can something digital sound this good? Because I have other digital amps and I think they're all pieces of shit. Pardon my French. They're crap. I mean, noise comes out of the speaker, but that's all it is noise. Anyway, couple of things. Number one, if you learn about Kemper amps, you're going to quickly come across the realization that this thing is a 600 watt amplifier, and it's like 600 watt. I'd have to have a 8 by 12 speaker cabinet to handle that power. Negative. Okay. Now, I know I'm a little far away from it. Sorry. It's kind of, I'm sitting in my living room. So here's the deal. Output right there. Okay. You hit that. Oh, I'm in performance mode. Sorry. Let's go here. Okay, now we're in the regular. Output. Go to the last page, and there's a setting right here. There's a knob here where you can set the amp power output, and I think it comes by default. Well, mine was set down low. You have to actually turn it up if you wanted 600 watts or something like that. Who the hell would want that? Unless you were going into stadium speakers or something. But anyway, this Kemper cabinet is 200 watts. That's what it's rated at. So I'm like, well, how does that work with 600 watts? So it's not really 600 watts that it's putting out. I mean, I'm sure it is when you turn it wide open like that, but you don't need to, and there's no reason to. The baseline power that is set out, whatever that rating is, it powers this thing. I mean, I tried it through a couple other speakers, but anyway, the other thing I want to point out is that if you go to, let's see, I believe, of course, now that I need it, I won't be able to find it. There's one setting in here that is for, oh, here it is. It's like the 7th page or something like that. Anyway, you have to, if you have a Kemper cone, I should turn this around here. If you have a Kemper cone, this is a non-powered, passive, okay? It's passive. You have to turn on the Kemper cone, okay? Now, it's not that it sounds bad without it, but you have to turn that on in order to do the speaker imprints and stuff like that. Now, will that work on a regular speaker cabinet? It probably will, but you're not going to get the sound that's intended. And then anyway, you have a knob right here, and I should say it doesn't make a giant difference when you change the different cones. It makes a little subtle difference, but you can hear it. And let's see, I've got it set on the Celestian Blue right now. Now it's set to a creamback. Notice how it doesn't really sound that different. I have a hard time seeing because I'm half blind anyway. Anyway, what I'd like to tell you is that now I haven't profiled an amp yet. I'm going to profile my Princeton right there. I'm going to profile that one. I'm going to profile my AC15. Here's what I'd like to share with you. because this is the kind of information that I don't really think people are sharing out there. They're so busy sharing tricks and all that other stuff, which is cool, but do you want one of these? That would be a good question. So here's the deal. There are profiles in this thing that they're, how do I say this and be gentle? They sound like shit, okay? Because they are basically probably created by people that think that taking all the knobs and turning them up to 10 on an amplifier sounds good, and that only sounds good to a jack-off, okay? And if you're the jack-off that does that, well, sorry, get over it, okay? That's crap. That's not how you use an amplifier, okay? That's how an amateur does it. So learn how to use your amplifier. With that said, there are some presets in here that are not so good, in my opinion. So if you like them, more power to you. I'm not knocking you. I'm simply saying that there are some in here that the thing is, when you take settings and everything's turned really high, they all sound the same. It doesn't matter what the name of the amplifier is or who profiled it. It sounds like shit, okay? Because it's just fuzzy noise. And you can't, there's no way you could do a blindfold test and be able to tell them apart, other than one's a little louder or more aggressive than the other. That's about the only thing you could really be able to tell. So with that said, I told you I like AC Fox amps. So I mean, I like Fender amps and other stuff too, but I have a new appreciation for Marshall amps because of this one. I've never really had appreciation for them because they've always been out of my price range. But anyway, there are some really, once you learn how to use this thing, and there is a learning curve, okay? There's a learning curve to this. Once you start getting the gist of how this works, all of a sudden, it's like the magic comes out. And your creative juices just kind of start flowing. Well, at least that's been the experience for me, and I'm sure I'm not totally, different from everybody else. I'm sure I have my personal, I was going to say insecurities. It's not insecurities. It's not iniquities either. Idiosyncrasies. Gosh. Anyway, okay. So you have to decide if you want this, something like this, because it's expensive. I mean, these things are retailing for like $1,700 to $2,500, $3,000, depending on what you get with it. If you got the foot pedal and the Kemper cone and the profiler, hell, you could spend a chunk of change there. But anyway, I bought this on a whim because it was on sale and it was a last one and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, what the hell, man? I got every damn thing else. I might as well have this too. And after having it for, let's just call it a month, I'm kind of like, wow, there's some serious wow factor going here. So, and this thing can plug, this thing has got more plugins than you can shake a stick at. I still don't know what that old saying ever meant. This thing is made to plug into anything. Apparently there's looper capability in here and everything. You can go into multiple cabinets. You can have no sound, just go direct into your digital audio workstation. You can, there's just, all the pedals you can imagine. You can program them right in here on the fly, and you have total autonomy over the setup, and then you can save it. And then there's another mode here. This is kind of cool. You can go over, see, I've got it on, what is it called? Browse, on browser setting. Now I'm going to go to performance right here. And then you can have up to, it's like there is, let me see if I can do this right here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you see how it's changing there? That's in one performance, and you can have 5 different, it's basically like having 5 amps, or like you can have this one playing the clean channel of a AC30, and then the second one would be for like adding I don't know, a drive pedal, like you'd need that with an AC30, but whatever. And then you can do different levels. You can have one set that's for doing a lead. And I'm sure I'm just scratching the surface here, and I don't have the pedal yet. But I see, oh, if you have this, you have the Kemper controller, you put it on the floor, and then you can be doing a performance, and when you get to the lead, you just hit that button, and all your presets for doing the lead are there, and it comes on, and then you hit the other when you go back to the rhythm. And I'm like going, oh, that makes sense. Gotcha. Okay. So this thing can apparently you can run Kempers in parallel. You know, a couple of them. I don't know why you'd do that, but apparently you can. And I'm sure somebody out there knows why you'd do that. But anyway, my point is this. If you get one of these, and like I said, I haven't profiled the amp yet, but I've listened to people's testimonies after they've done the profile, and they're like, you know, it's so close to the one that I profiled, I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference, you know, in a blind test. And if it's that close, that's pretty cool. So if you know somebody has a really cool amp, you could take this and profile their amp, and then you have their amp. So that's kind of why I bought it, because when I was at Sam Ash, they had a Soldano, the 30 watt, I can't remember there's one in here. I don't think it sounds quite like the one I listened to in the store, but I was blown away by the sound of that amp, and they wanted $2,100 for it. Apparently it retailed for $3,300 or something like that, and I was just like, gosh, $2,100, that's a lot of money. And I thought, if I got this, I could probably go profile one or find somebody that has one on the internet and then download it. So I bought this, and I'm glad I got it now, but there was, for the first couple of weeks, I was like, why didn't you just stop being a jackass and buy that Sultana, you dingleberry? So now that I've bought the Kemper amp, the cone was $430 delivered. They called it refurbished. I haven't found a flaw in it yet, but whatever. But I bought that off of their website, so, you know, that's $1,750 I have in this. And I'm planning to get the foot controller too at some point, so it gets spendy. But are you spending the money anyway? Like me, I got a bunch of electric guitars. Hell, I just bought this after the Kemper, and I love it, and I can't put it down. So, well, I can, but I'm not going to. Anyway, I guess that's it. I hope I haven't babbled here too much. I hope I've shared something with you that's useful. Oh, last thing I'd like to say is there are people apparently that are really good, supposedly, at dialing in profiles and stuff like that. And I purchased a set for $16 from it's a worship team. I guess they teach people how to do worship in church and stuff like, how to be the worship team. And they provide profiles for, this would be a great thing for a church, man, because it's got the power, it's got the features and everything that you use. But anyway, I paid for a profile from them for a 1964 AC30, and whenever I've bought two of them, two sets so far, one from this company, one from another, and they come with a whole set of variations on the profile, clean channel, drive channel, crunch, performance parts that go on this, that you plug into this side here. They're pretty good. You have to set the amp up right, like I told you in the beginning, which I haven't really gone through how to do all that, but you have to get it set up. And once you do that, I don't know what a 1964 AC30 sounds like in the room, but if it sounds anything like what's coming out of this speaker, it's probably pretty impressive, because the ambiance, I don't know, like I said, I haven't profiled an amp, I haven't been able to A/B them and see just how close it is, but there's plenty of people that are saying it's really, really close. I mean, like, real close. So, do I think it's worth buying this? Yeah, I do. I think if you got the means to do it, and you actually spend too much time, whatever that is, on music, on your guitars and amps and stuff like that, yeah, I'd say sure, absolutely. But get the cone too. Okay. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't work with the others, because it does, but this is designed to it's a neutral speaker and cabinet, and it's made to work with this, and it does make a difference, because I've had this plugged into a couple of other speakers, and I played gently because because I didn't realize that it wasn't putting out 600 watts. I was just being nice to it, and it sounded good, but it sounds better with this. And this, I know, sorry, this is 23 minutes. That Princeton right there, I put the Mercury Magnetics, what do you call them, transformers in it a couple of years ago, and people were like, "Oh, dude, if you do that, it's gonna give it more of a high fidelity sound," and it kind of did. Okay, it definitely cleaned up the sound. But I was like afraid to do it, because it's basically $500 to do that, plus putting it in, which I did myself. But anyway, it was a great improvement. This Kemper amp, this is high fidelity. Okay, so it's a lot cleaner. Not cleaner like it's the clean channel. I mean, it's cleaner like it doesn't have all the background artifacts in the sound. It doesn't. You can make it as fuzzy as you want, or drive. It'll do some serious overdrive, but it's a pristine sound. Let me put it to you that way. The notes are articulated very well. It's very clear. Now you can adjust it and make it sound more kind of fuzzy and rough around the edges, kind of like a regular amp does, which is cool because you have that capability. But what I'm saying is, this thing is very clear sounding. Here. I sleep in the other room. But my point is, you can get it. That's not very gritty at all. That's just got that kind of, that Fox kind of growl to it. And I'm playing through a telly, so that kind of gives it more of a twangy sound anyway. But my point is this. This thing will get just as nasty as you want it to get, and it'll get just as clean as you could ever desire. So I hate to admit that I love this thing, because I don't want to admit there's an amp better than a tube amp. So there, I said it. Now, if anybody asks you and you tell them I said that, I will tell them that you're a liar. So anyway, have a wonderful day. This short video is 27 minutes long. Sorry. Anyway, I hope I've given you something to help you make a decision here. Have a wonderful day. Please stop by wickedoil.com and check us out, man. Got great products. You cannot go wrong with Amsoil. I promise. Thanks.